Hello and welcome to the Corona Yoga Challenge. Today is day 99. Woo. Yeah, it really is. So make sure that you're checking my website here. Make sure that you're nice and safe, adapting poses as you need to. Subscribe if you would like to. And we're going to start by coming into all fours. So if you want to just bring yourself into a comfortable position so that you've got space between your knees, space between your hands. And you're going to start by just easing your hips from one side to the other side. So a nice, smooth, easy movement. And then you're going to bring your hips back to the centre. You're going to start to arch the back up towards the ceiling. Release the head down, the neck lengthens. And then inhaling, lengthen out. Inhale if it's comfortable, but otherwise other way is fine too. Breathing out, you're going to lift up through the back of the body, release down with the head. And from here, when you're holding that movement of that lifting up, ease yourself over to one side, over to the other side. Now ease yourself over to the first side again, but slightly deeper so the hip drops back. And then to the other side. Bring yourself back to the centre. Keep the spine arching up as you bring yourself forwards and let the weight come into your hands. And then slide your hips back, slide them back and towards the heels. Lengthen the hips back, lengthen the shoulders down and away, and let your elbows come onto the floor. We're going to give chaturanga a little bit of a go. So this is where we hover ourselves down towards the floor. So it does take a little bit of strength, so if it doesn't quite work, then don't worry, it's quite normal. So you're going to have a long distance between your hands and your knees. You're going to slide your weight forwards and into your hands, lift up with your legs. So from here we come into plank pose. We let the hips draw down so we become a straight line. And then slowly you start to hover yourself down towards the floor, ideally so that your nose just touches it. And then let yourself rest onto the floor. Let your feet ease out. Take your hands lower down beside your waist. Slide your hips back, all the way back towards the heels. And then we're going to do that one more time if you would like. So we're going to do it so we're coming down and onto the floor. At any point, bring your knees down quicker or right onto the floor from the start if you would like. So nice long distance between your hands and your knees. You're sliding your shoulders forward so that the hips can lift up. So we come in towards that plank position, so in a nice long line. Make sure you've got a little bit of space between the hands. If the hands are too close together, you've just not got enough space to move and come down. So from here, draw the elbows back towards your waist as you draw your face slightly forwards. Hover over the floor if it's comfortable. And then let yourself soften onto the floor. Feet come flat. Hands come back. Press yourself back into extended child so you can rest your head onto the floor. And then we're going to come up through a standing forward bend. So you're going to have your hands back towards your knees. Press into your hands, lift up with the hips, down through the feet, a bit of softness through the back of your legs. Just allow yourself to enjoy folding forwards. And then bend through the knees, lift up through the pelvic floor, up through the tummy, all the way up and overhead, and then hands come to your heart. We're going to come to standing pose just now, so just make sure that you have got a nice mat or something very non-slidey in front of you. So from here you're going to take a really nice big long step so one leg is extending out and you're going to let your knee drop down towards forwards towards your ankle. So we've got hopefully a nice steady line of gravity down through the knee, down through the ankle. From here you're going to let your hands come up and overhead. You're going to let your shoulders sink down the back of the body. Get a feeling of width across the back of the body. And then let your hands come down. And we're going to swap over. So we're going to take that opposite foot in front. So again, just take a nice big step back or forwards depending on the space in your room. Front knee is going to bend. So sink down through the front knee. Hands are going to come up and overhead. We're sinking down with the shoulder blades, down with the foot on the floor. So we're really, really grounded. And then peel up with the back foot, bring yourself to standing. we're going to have the option of doing that with a slight variation. So if you take a nice big step along your mat, so you've got a nice steady feeling in the hips, you're going to let your front knee bend, so it's going to come just over the ankle joint. You're going to let your back heel lift. So sometimes when we let the back heel lift, it just means that there's a feeling of life coming up through that leg. Sometimes you can just get a bit heavy into the back foot. So sometimes just that little bit of lift through the heel makes the whole leg and the whole body a little bit more active. And then the other option is to let your front heel lift as well, so you can get that lightness through the front leg. Then both hands can come up and overhead. Both shoulders sink down, so in a version of Warrior One. And then let your hands come out towards the sides. Sink down through one heel, down through the other, lengthen up through the legs and back to standing. And then we're going to come to the opposite side. So a nice longish step if it's comfortable for you. Sink down through the front knee. Start to peel up through the back heels. So you get that feeling of like, alive. We want to be alive. And then from here, choose whether you want your front heel to lift off the floor. Hands can come up overhead. And then we can get that feeling of high into the balls of the feet and then sink slightly through the hips. And then let your hands come wide and down. Let your foot sink down, heel sink down, and stand yourself back to both feet even. We're going to come down to the floor now, so if you want to bring yourself to sitting, and we're going to have our feet out in front. We're going to come to a version of tailor pose, so we're going to have our feet out towards the front. Apart from, what we're going to do is we're going to let the soles of the feet come away and we're going to keep them a little bit active. So sometimes in tailor pose we can end up with that same kind of just falling into it thing. So what we're doing is if you take the balls of the feet together and toes gently out, you're going to get a feeling of a little bit of alertness and aliveness through the legs. You might find that the knees don't extend down towards the floor as much, but it doesn't really matter. That's not our main priority at the moment. Our main priority is to have a kind of whole yoga pose, which means feeling alert, alive, calm, all in one. So from here, you're going to take one hand to your opposite leg. Hand can come onto the floor. See if you can stay so gentle through the hands as you bring yourself out and round. So get that feeling of sinking down through the hips and then that natural lift up and through the spine. Bring yourself back into the centre and to the opposite side. Same thing, gentle with the hands and the arms. Steady down through the pelvis to lift up through the spine. Bring yourself back to the centre. And then you're going to cross your legs in towards you so that the ankles are just crossed in. And you're working your feet close in towards you. So rather than the kind of crossed legs where our feet are under our knees. One hand onto the leg, ease yourself out and round. And then to the opposite side. And then we're going to swap ourselves over so that the leg that's over the top, you're going to draw this foot under, the other foot comes in. So we're asking the knees to be high up for this position. Bringing yourself round in one direction. Keep steady through the hips on the floor and to the other side. And then bringing yourself back to the centre. Take your legs out, flip them out and wide. Fall forwards between both legs and draw your feet, your toes gently towards you. Take an easy breath, soften the shoulders and then bring yourself up into sitting. And we're going to come to do some breathing just now. So if you just bring yourself to a comfortable seated position. There we go, let's just do that. So we're going to do a little bit of ujjayi breathing. So we're going to be doing our nice, soft, steady, even out breath. So it's that growly noise in the back of your throat or soft, gentle oceanic noise, depending on where you are with it. If you have done this before and you like that feeling of a little bit of strength, then go with it. Just make sure that you're staying back within yourself so that we're not projecting all and out. So that you have got that quiet place that you are coming from. So you're just going to do an easy breath in through your nose, and then you're going to go out through your nose, but we're going to see if we can get that soft snoring noise. Stay back and quiet. Gently extending the out breath. And one last time. And then let your breathing just settle into whatever its natural rhythm is just now. My challenge for the day. My challenge for the day is to surprise yourself. Obviously, this is the trickiest surprise to pull off. But see if you can do something that surprises you today. It might be that you just do something a bit differently. It might be that you do something quite out of character just for fun. I'm not suggesting anything too major, too weird. Or, well, that's up to you. But more just the kind of, for me, I don't eat meat. And every so often, about every 3 years, I surprise myself and eat meat. I don't usually particularly enjoy it, but it's a kind of an interesting process because it's just not something I associate with myself. So it might be something equally mundane. It might be that you eat meat all the time and you surprise yourself by having a whole meal without meat. My quote for you today. My quote for you today is by Rilke. The inner, what is it? If not intensified sky, hurled through with the birds, and deep with the winds of homecoming. The inner, what is it? If not intensified sky, hurled through with birds, and deep with the winds of homecoming. And this is from Donna Farry, which is quite a nice book. Once somebody asked me Susan asked me for a book, and I'm like, I've got about 100 yoga books probably, but which one? Which one to advise? That's one of my challenges. I hope you have a super day. I hope you really enjoy your day and enjoy some wild or gentle surprises depending on what suits you today. Thank you.